You got family, Chief? Anyone special out there?
No,
Then why do you do this? Again and again.
it's all I know.
What about you? Do you have anyone out there?
No. Not anymore.
I'm sorry.
It's just been so long since anyone's even asked me something like that.
It's gonna be okay. We're with the Master Chief. He'll make it okay. Won't you?
First things first, Halo Infinite is more for the die-hard fans of the series than for newcomers. And somehow Halo Infinite shows off more feelings in its story than before. I did not play all the Halo games, so I'm a bit fuzzy on the story, but if you play this one all the way to the final cutscene, you will see some strong feelings involved. Sacrifice, emotions, and a side of Master Chief that you haven't seen before, maybe more humane in a way, more guilty, and more ready to put it all on the line to repent for his past sins. Kind of like a bold move from the writers of the game, but I like it. I really like it. I mean, yeah, you expect to take control of a empty-headed, trigger-happy Marine-like soldier called Master Chief. At least when I say Halo, that's what I'm thinking about. And while the entire game is designed around guns and shooting stuff, the writers kind of wanted to offer something much more, something that you won't be able to experience in the multiplayer. A mixture of emotions hidden inside a bullet storm. I feel like this review is more for me than it is for anyone watching or listening. I made it because I wasn't able to convince myself that Halo Infinite is worth it. As far as the multiplayer is concerned, I mean, that's strong, and because it's for free, it just might be one of the best ones in 2021. Putting my feet on the ground pretty fast. Coming back to the single player campaign, here the emphasis on single player, because that's exactly what you're getting. 60 bucks, $59.99, whatever, for a solo experience. Promises of a campaign and co-op somewhere in the spring of 2022. If that ever comes. Never review something based on future promises, and never make a purchase based on something that you're not getting, but hoping that you will one day. Full price, and without wasting your time, Halo Infinite single player campaign is exclusive for the die-hard Halo fans, and not so much for the rest of us. I don't think that you should purchase this if you don't absolutely love Halo. I don't really feel confused about what I played for almost 15 hours, give or take. The picture of the entire game was painted clear in the very first 2 hours of gameplay.
Okay, let's do this.
Exterior. The map shows a mountain side, I guess. If you see in one area, you've probably seen them all. Every hilltop looks the same like the previous one. At this point, you can say that you've seen the entire map. Interior, it's some sort of a alien spaceship / cave situation. You've seen one cave, you've seen them all. You don't get to go from low to high, from flooded swamps to snowy mountain peaks, from rich, dense city architecture to lush, wild forests. Nah, in Halo Infinite has basically one empty, repetitive, same mountainside map. That's supposed to feel a little bit like open world, supposed to, but it's not quite there. The entire map is filled, of course, with more objectives and areas to go than you know what to do with. All of them are pretty much copy-pasted. You know the drill. Go everywhere, farm each outpost, each location. Rewards exist, but they're not many, and they're certainly not generous. Some vehicles here and there that help you traverse the land or fight your way throughout the bad guys, even though sometimes, because of the maneuvering, it feels lackluster and the vehicle controls are just abysmal. They will most of the time getting away instead of helping you. The key of the game here is, as usual, there's more bad guys, enemies than guns. The arsenal is pretty slim, at least for the first half of the game. You are presented with the same exact weapons that Master Chief had in the back in 2001. I think it was the first Halo ever created. Ever since then, not much has changed when it comes to weapons. It's been 20 years, too many years if you ask me, and judge me if you like, but I really wanted something more in terms of weapons, not just the same. And if Halo happens to be your favorite game of all time on this planet, like I said in the intro, this is definitely for you. But like, what about the rest of us? The map will feature a ton of places to go. You're gonna find Spartan tags that act like skill points that you can upgrade your character. Master Chief himself, he has dodge, jump, you can upgrade your shields or a bunch of other stuff that I didn't really get to do. Take on outposts in form of towers or something like that, which you can fast travel between later on the game. Some places where they have resources, and you might be familiar with this from Middle-earth Shadow of War. You've seen that done with the orcs captain. Well, here you also fighting something that looks like orcs and defeating their captain, the captain of the Banish, will get you a special weapon. Special weapon that you don't really get to keep for a long time, considering weapons run out of ammo very fast in this game. You're probably going to be swapping it for something that you find on the ground. There is too much to do, way too much, versus the variety, where the variety is lacking altogether. And it might feel a bit overwhelming, constantly asking yourself where to go next. I kinda noticed something in terms of graphics. This isn't exactly a good thing. Halo Infinite has a way of sucking when it comes to exteriors, and it's quite excellent at interiors. I was hoping for more of a balance, but no. Outside the forest and anything that has to do with plants or trees just looks bad and outdated. It feels like something from 2010 maybe, where on the opposite spectrum, the alien interiors, those caves, those structures look amazing and they feel futuristic the way they should feel. And in those interiors where the performance is completely different, it's where the game shines. Walking outside, something's happening with this game that just drops frames. There's something about this mountainside, forest-like. Not only that it looks bad, but it makes my computer lose frames. In total of 55 frames at average, I played the entire game with everything set to high and 2K resolution. There's very little incentive to discover. Since you have no fall damage and Master Chief can jump from the highest peak, I've climbed all of these mountains in search of, well, anything. Maybe hidden objectives, you name it. At best, what I found was a bunch of cosmetics. Skins for weapons or vehicles. That's pretty much it. Fast forward to the ending, I felt like it was completely uninspired. And it was created with lack of imagination. A sandbox arena where you get to fend off against multiple waves of enemies that you encounter before from the beginning of the game. It could have been so much more, honestly, but it was tedious and boring to the point where it really felt like all the way to the end of the game that Halo Infinite was made by two teams of creators. One doing the writing and composing the story, and by the way, it's a pretty good story, and the other one in charge with the execution. The people that were doing the level design, and almost as if they had no idea or no imagination what to do with the entire game. It just gives you waves of bad guys after wave for every single given objective on the map. capture the objective, move on to the other wave of bad guys that look exactly the same. If it's the main story, if it's a quest in the main story, you get like 10 waves of bad guys because it's supposed to be an important area. If it's just a simple secondary area, you get 2 waves of bad guys. But there's no difference. I mean, you just get more, not better. A couple of mini boss fights, like I said, in form of captains that you get to take out and receive a special weapon. But not even one single real boss fight in the entire game, well, with the exception of the final part. I'm not gonna spoil it, which by the time you are done with those hundreds of enemy waves that are thrown at you, you just feel tired and you just want to get it over with. You just want to end the game to the point where the final boss fight isn't that exciting. As a conclusion, I guess, when it comes to open world, clearly this isn't it. If you are a fan and need more Halo in your life, sure, you can pick this up. You probably don't need me to tell you this. But if you're looking for a AAA shooter with a pedigree, it really felt like Halo Infinite is a bit of a letdown. And honestly, I am glad I played it in single player with a friend by my side in co-op, trying to figure out what outpost to take next, and running around mindlessly between checkpoints would have been a bit of a mess. At least I did it in my own way by myself. Just look at the single player campaign as a very expensive shooting practice for the multiplayer.
You know, this might actually work.